As the scripture says, there's no new thing under the sun, saying that wherein it's new. So the same thing that Solomon experienced, we're going to experience. And guess what? When Yahweh Shai comes back on the scene, it's going to play it all over again. Because he's that same spirit back then. Go on, brother.
And all King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold, and all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon,
right,
were pure gold.
Were pure gold. Everything was gold. All of the stuff they had was gold. All right, go on, brother.
None were of silver. It was nothing accounted of in the days of Solomon.
Right, it was not accounted in the days of Solomon. So if you went into Solomon's realms, everything, pretty much all of the vessels that he had and everything that he, that he had in his hands was made out of gold. I mean, you talk about precious stones and stuff like that, he probably had as well. Okay, and it tells you that how the ships of Hiram brought forth dates and spices. So they brought him more goods on top of what he already had. Go on.
For the king had at sea a navy.
And what we're reading about a so-called black man. We're not reading about some so-called white person. Right? Because when you read in the what is it? The Songs of Solomon, he said, "Don't look upon me because I am black." All right. So this is a black man we're reading about, so-called black man.
A navy of Tarshish,
right?
Or Tarshish with the navy of Hiram,
right? With the navy of Hiram, which the people of Hiram are the Philistines, or Hiram, excuse me. So now, right? No, they were the Philistines, brother. I'm looking it up. Yeah. So what you could do, brother, stop there. Give me Isaiah 60, because it says the same thing in Isaiah 60 on how we're gonna have what is it? The ships of Tarshish. They're pretty much going to go into those ships, sell a certain part of the world to give us the goods so that we can beautify our kingdom. Because all we know, all right, is that the kingdom of heaven is going to be established on earth. It ain't going to be some kingdom in the sky like the Christians like to say. We're going to have an actual kingdom on this earth, like how the so-called white man has his kingdom. We're in this kingdom right now. It's called, as I call it, what is it, the British American Empire. But really, if you want to go deeper, it's really the revival of ancient Rome. So we live in this kingdom right now. So when this kingdom is destroyed by way of nuclear war, guess what? We're going to be on the come up. That's why who you call Jesus Christ, he's coming back the second time. Why is he coming back the second time? To save his elect and to reestablish his kingdom on earth. Go on, brother. Destroy this kingdom and establish his kingdom on earth. Go on.
Isaiah 60 verse 9.
Right.
Surely the isles shall wait for me.
Right.
And the ships of Tarshish.
And the ships of Tarshish. It said the same thing in the book of Solomon. 1 Kings, the 10th chapter. Same thing. So now we can go back. 1 Kings. Matter of fact, finish what you read.
And the ships of Tarshish first. To bring thy sons from afar.
Right, to bring thy sons from afar. Why? Because they're going to be slaves. They're going to be servants into the house of Israel. The so-called blacks, so-called Native American Indians, okay, so-called Hispanics. We're going to be the ruling class race on the planet after this society is destroyed. Go on.
There's silver and their gold with them.
Right, and there's silver and their gold with them. And what do you think we're going to do with that silver and gold? Hey man, we gonna be making our homes out of that gold. Even tells you that in what is it? Revelations. I believe it's Revelations, the 21st chapter, where it speaks about how when you look at the kingdom, right? The kingdom of heaven, there were certain walls that were made out of sardonyx stones. All right, onyx, jasper, sapphire. So our kingdom is gonna be beautiful. In comparison to this shit that we see right here. Pan the camera, brother. Of these buildings. Pan the camera on these buildings and the environment as a whole. This is the shit in the Bible we live in. In comparison to what we're gonna have to do. So really the so-called white man, he don't got anything on top of what we don't have. Alright? Esau shouldn't got nothing in comparison to what we're gonna have. Nothing whatsoever. Okay, when you go inside your house, you're gonna have golden. You're gonna have golden steps in your house, golden rails. Okay, the outside of the house may be made out of what is it, sapphire. The inside of the house might be made out of a different precious stone. And it's gonna be wild. Like we're gonna go crazy when the Lord puts us in that position of power, and them nations gives us the goods that they gonna give us. Okay. Like King Solomon went wild with his possessions. Go on, brother.
I'll just say gold has a lot of healing properties in it as well.
Exactly. And them different stones as well. Go on, brother.
Yeah, silver and they gold with them unto the name of Yahweh thy God,
Right.
to the Holy One of Israel, because he have glorified you.
Right, because they have glorified you. So the Lord's name is going to be in the midst of his people. And that's why the nations ultimately are going to provide them with all of their goods. They're going to provide us with what they have. Because they're going to see the power in the Lord in the midst of Israel. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right back to Solomon now.
Yeah, verse 22, verse King 10:22. When the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish, the navy of Haram,
Right.
once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver,
Right.
ivory and apes and peacocks.
Right. And the reason why it took 3 years because it took them a year and a half to go to the other side of the world, and another year and a half to go right back to King Solomon's kingdom, which was obviously in the Middle East. So when you add up the number, it was 3 years. Okay, go on.
So King Solomon exceeded all the kings on the earth.
Right, and King Solomon exceeded all the kings of the earth. Because in our society, you're gonna have governments of other nations. The other nations, they're gonna have their own governments. But guess what? Their governments is gonna be under our government. Because our government is gonna be the supreme one. Like, for example, the so-called white man, he has the ruling government, and he subdues all governments. The governments of Elam, the East Indians, the governments of the Chinese, the governments of Africa, the governments of whatever country you can think of. It's under his government, or his supreme power. So it's going to be the same way in the kingdom of heaven. Our rulership is going to far exceed the other nations, as it did during Solomon's day. Go on.
Let's say, so King Solomon exceeded all the kings on the earth
Right.
for riches and for wisdom.
Right, and for riches and for wisdom. Go on.
And all the earth sought to Solomon
Right.
to hear his wisdom that the Most High have put in his heart.
Right, and that's why ultimately Solomon had what he had because of his wisdom. Wisdom brought forth all of those goods. The wisdom brought forth him that position of power, respect, honor. So it's the same thing gonna happen with us, because the wisdom that we possess is gonna gain life back to us, and it's gonna gain riches to us. Everything that is good to the soul that fulfills man is going to be brought to the nation of Israel. But it's going to start with the elect. Why? Because we have the wisdom. So it all begins with wisdom. Because back in the ancient world, if you was a rich man, it's really because you was a man of understanding. The men of understanding were rich. All right, now if you was poor or you was living a regular lifestyle, most likely you was a man of not so much of high understanding. You may have had understanding, but it wasn't high to the point where you could make yourself rich. Okay? But Solomon's a key example of wisdom. The more wisdom that you can attain, especially from the Most High, the Most High's wisdom, not the wisdom of man, but the wisdom of the Heavenly Father, the more richer you will become. Okay? And it's all going to be declared in the kingdom. The elect, they're going to benefit of the kingdom of heaven more than the 2/3 of our own people. Why? Because they didn't have access to the wisdom. All right, go on, brother.
Right. And they brought every man his present, vessels of silver and vessels of gold,
Right.
and garments and armor,
Yep.
and spices,
Right?
horses,
Okay.
and mules,
Okay.
a rate year by year.
Right, and the rate year by year. So every year he was getting stuff from the nations, man. And that's what you call the forces of the Gentiles pursuant to Isaiah 60. So the same thing is going to be played all over again. It's going to be a playback. When you read the book of Isaiah 60, he's basically, Isaiah is really talking about what Solomon experienced. And we're going to experience that. Go on.
And Solomon gathered together chariots and horsemen.
Yeah.
And he had 1,400 chariots.
Like those different, he had those cars. Okay, he had his own little cars and stuff. Go on.
And 12,000 horsemen whom he bestowed in the cities
Yeah.
for chariots
Yeah.
and with the king at Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And the king makes silver to be in Jerusalem.
It's back in the ancient world, right? In order for you to, like, if you like a carriage was pulled by a horse. So you can even imagine that the horse even had gold on it, gold on his neck, gold on his legs and stuff like that. And even the carriage was made out of gold. Okay, so Solomon was living a life, man. He was living a life of a man. Okay, because he had everything on lock. He had everything. Okay, he was complete. His life was complete. Go on.
They said, and the king made silver to be in Jerusalem
Okay.
as stones,
Yeah.
and cedars made he to be as the sycamore trees
Right.
that are in the vale for abundance.
Yeah, he was complete, man. It's like when you play a video game, right, and you complete all of the levels. Now you pretty much, like, for example, I'm gonna use Grand Theft Auto as an example. When you actually go through all those levels, you have all of that accumulation of money on the game, and you could buy anything you want. Okay, so it's the same thing with Solomon. Solomon lived a complete life. All right, he was complete, and that's the life we're going to live in the kingdom. Everything's going to be fulfilled. Everything that we want is going to be in front of us. Okay, if you want a fine-ass woman, she's right there. The type of woman you want, she's going to be right there. Okay, you want to walk around with a garment, right, with the best what is the texture? What is it? What's it, brother? Textile. Right, textile. That's it. You want to walk around with silk. Okay, or suede garment, you couldn't have all of that stuff. Because guess what? The Most High is going to provide us with all of these goods by using the other nations as well as Solomon.
Right. And Solomon had horses brought out of Egypt,
Yep.
and linen yarn.
Right.
The king's merchants received the linen yarn at a price.
Yep.
And the chariot came up and went out of Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and the horse for 150.
Yeah, I believe that's 128 pounds worth of gold. So that's a lot of gold. If you carrying something that weighs 128 pounds, okay, that's heavy right there. That's heavy. Okay, that's not a light thing. That's a heavy thing. So he had a lot of gold. So that's showing you right there that King Solomon, his kingdom was pretty much all about him. And the reason why it was all about him because King David paved the way so that the nations don't rise up against Solomon. And that's why they respected Solomon, because of what King David's work. Because when you read about King David, what was he doing? He was killing people, man. He was killing nations. Right. He was smiting them. All right, Salakia. He was smiting them. He was putting them down. So when Solomon came on the scene, everything was already being prepared in place for him to rule. Okay, go on.
Excuse me. Yeah. And so for all the kings of the Hittites and for the kings of Syria, did they bring them out by their means.
Yeah. Oh, that's it, right? You get Isaiah 60 now.
Isaiah.
Yeah, go on. No, just take it with us. You can start from the first verse.
Isaiah 60 verse 1.
Yeah.
Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee.
Right. Because what's the light? What's the glory of the Lord? The light that we have, which is the wisdom. We have the wisdom. Didn't Solomon have the wisdom to attain all of those goods? Yeah. So we have the wisdom now, but later on, if we keep using this wisdom, and we keep abiding by this wisdom, this is what we're going to get. Read that.
For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth,
Yep.
and gross darkness the people.
It grows darkness to people. because they're under that the lies and the deceit that the so-called white man has spread forth about the four corners of the earth. And this is what proves that the so-called white man is the devil, because the word devil means deceiver. He's going to deceive you into what? Something that's not true, or something that's not so. Okay, or that's not you. And I'm not talking about the average Joe. I'm talking about the higher banking elite, because they're the ones that set the tone of this world for it to be the way that it is. Okay, go on.
But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee.
Right, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. Matter of fact, read the first verse of that.
Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee.
You know, it says gross darkness.
For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people.
Right, so there's going to come a time where people are going to be in under darkness, lies and deceit and all kinds of things, as we have it today. All right, so that's a fulfillment of prophecy. We're actually living in prophecy right now. It's the one thing with people, the majority of the people, they don't know the truth. And the truth of the matter is, all right, which is a part of the truth, is that the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos and Native American Indians are the people of Israel, the real Jews. People have been taught lies and been conditioned to believe that the people in Israeli land are the real Jews, when in fact they're not the real Jews. They're a bunch of gutter rats, and the Lord is going to take them out of that land on a way of nuclear destruction. Okay? But going back to the point of the matter is that we have the light to pretty much destroy the lies thereof now. Now we're going to read this.
Right. And it said, but the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light.
And the Gentiles shall come to thy light. Who is this talking about? Matter of fact, let's keep reading.
And kings to the brightness of thy rising.
Right, and the kings to the brightness of thy rising. So that's all of those other nations. Because it tells you, right, out of the law, all right, shall go forth out of Zion. So everything, whether it be, knowledge and understanding, whether it be a way of life, is all going to be coming from us. If they want something, they have to go to us. Like it says in the curse in Deuteronomy 28, on how we would be under subjection, so much so that we would have to ask the nations for all things. Roughly paraphrasing it, you should be, matter of fact, get it, brother. Sometimes I quote it correctly, sometimes I don't. I tell you what, brother, just get that precept, and then you can Deuteronomy chapter 28, I believe it's 48. You know, it says for the one of all things. Yeah, get that, because I misquoted it. So yeah, it's going to be the opposite. This time it's going to be the other nations. They're going to have to pretty much look at us, and if they want some, they have to get it from us, rather than what it is right now.
It says Deuteronomy 28 verse 48, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall set against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
As it is right this very day. Go on.
You shall put a yoke of iron on thy neck, till you have destroyed.
Yeah, so that's going to be changed around. It's going to be quite contrary to what we're dealing with right now. So obviously we're going to have the spiritual yoke over the nations next. Okay? And so much so that they're going to be conditioned to be used to being enslaved. Because they're going to see us with all of this power and all of this conglomerate. See? And so much so that it would just be it wouldn't be reasonable for them to pretty much gain some kind of revenge or rebel against our society, because we'll be able to take them out in one given moment.
The scripture says the nation that won't serve us won't get no rain.
That's it. That's it. So that's spiritual power. So if we're gonna have that kind of power, it would be stupid to rebel against the kingdom, our kingdom. That's like pretty much saying, you know, I want to just commit suicide.
That is suicide.
You know?
The scripture talk about mustard seed.
Well, that's in Matthew's. I think that's in Matthew's 13.
That's going to be our pastime as well. When they rebel, it's going to be our pastime, catching them up, just hemming them up,
Yeah. It's Matthew
You know?
13 and
seeking them out and seeking and destroying, you know what I mean?
That was the past day.
Matthew
Yeah.
13 verse 31. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed,
Yep.
which a man took and sowed in his field,
Yep.
which indeed is the least of all seeds.
right, it's the least of all seeds. So if you look at a mustard seed, you know, as we've all seen, it's the smallest of all seeds. But what comes out of that seed is gigantic, man. All right? Go on, brother. They don't even look at that. Focus, man. And that's facts. Man. That's all beast, man. You like those beasts,
No,
brother.
I wasn't looking at it. I was looking at it.
Okay. All right, go on.
So it says, which indeed is the least of all seeds.
Yep.
And when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs.
That's it. It is the greatest of all herbs. So it's the same thing with the kingdom of heaven. It's what we're speaking about right here holds no significance in the eyes of the people. You know, in this society as a whole, because people are more concerned about what they see and what they know. Okay, but people have no notice of what we're speaking about, and they don't really care. So it's a very small thing. But this knowledge and wisdom and understanding is going to be greater. Okay, because this wisdom and understanding is going to be made manifest into actual reality, and it's going to be beautiful. Okay, when these words come in effect, and I'm talking about the blessings thereof, that's spoken of about what the children of Israel are going to inherit, it's going to be magnificent, man. And these other nations, they're going to be like, damn. The whole world is going to be like, damn, man. Shit. And guess what? This was a very small thing he was bringing about. And guess what? I'll even go as far as saying this too. If you look at how it is today, in 18, everybody know about the Israelites. We just had 2 Edomites that came up, brother, right, and confessed, saying that they were Edomites. That's never happened before.
Today.
Yep. That's never happened. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. This brother been doing this for a long time, and I've never saw that before. So that's showing you right there that this truth started off real small, and it's still a small thing, but it's getting big to the point where it's compassing everything. It's compassing all of the lives there. All right, go on.
It is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof.
Right, a mustard tree became a tree. Something gigantic, a small seed. Okay, a minute seed, right? And it forms into a tree. It grows a tree. So, go on, brother.
Isaiah 2 verse 1.
Just
And
imagine
the
that.
word of Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw
Yep,
concerning Judah and Jerusalem.
yep.
And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains.
Right, off the top of the mountains. In other words, it's going to be the top government. The cream of the crop kind of government. Right? All manner of governments of the nations are going to be under that government. Go on.
And shall be exalted above the
It
hills,
shall be exalted above the hills, the other nations. Go on.
and all nations shall flow unto it.
Right, and every nation is going to flow onto it. They're going to have to pretty much agree with what we told them. They're going to have to be at one with what we say to them. All right? They're going to have to keep the commandments and laws, and they're going to do it anyway because it's going to be a way of life. Like how it is right now is a way of life, you know, to follow the ways of Esau. Okay, when you go for a job interview, what you got to do? Especially if you go in those corporate companies, you got to put a suit and tie on. Okay, it's a way of life to, you know, celebrate Christmas and celebrate all of these paganistic high holy days. So if these nations are going to be subdued under our rule for a long period of time, as it says in the scriptures, everlasting, then they're going to be automatically conditioned to walk in the right way, because our way is the right way. Now you can say it's our way, but it's the right way. Okay, go on, brother.
And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord.
Right, and it says, many people shall say, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord. They're going to go up to, you know, for example, let's say they want to learn something, or they want to be a part of something great in our kingdom, they have to come up to us. Okay, go on.
to the house of the Most High, or the God of Jacob,
Yep.
and he would teach us of his ways.
And that's going to happen anyway, because even if they're outside of their country, they're going to learn the law, statutes, commandments. They're going to learn the way of Israel. They're going to know it. Okay, go on.
And we will walk in his paths.
And check this out too. It's like, for example, right? You look at how it is now. Everybody has their own culture. Everybody has their own country. But where do most people want to be at? They either want to be in America or they want to be in England. So the same thing is going to happen in the kingdom. You're going to have a lot of nations that's going to want to look forward to being in a lot of Jerusalem or around those regions where our people are at. Because that's going to be the headquarters of the earth.
Yeah,
Jerusalem.
center point of the kingdom of heaven.
Right, the center point of the kingdom of heaven. Just like how Great Britain and America is the center point of the society.
We got the capital of the kingdom of heaven.
Come on.
It said, but out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem.
Right, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. So if all of the nations are going to have their own governments, after they get done fulfilling their slavery, their 1,000 years being under us, when they have their own government, what's going to happen? Their government is going to be is always going to remain under us. Because by us putting these nations into slavery, we've obviously got the majority of the benefit of it. So, in other words, even on that level, even on a financial, economic scale, we're going to be above them still. Even though we release them and they can, live their own little life, set up their little government. But if they do set up their own government, guess what? They're going to have to come under the government of Israel. All right? It's like Esau. Esau conquered certain nations and released them, and guess what? He still has them under his government. Okay, go on, brother.
And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people.
Right.
And they shall beat their swords into plowshares,
Right.
and their spears into pruning hooks.
Right, and their spears into pruning hooks. Go on.
Nation shall not lift up sword against nation,
Right.
neither shall they learn war anymore.
Because when the real Jews return back, and this is when we return back to the land of Israel. When you return back to the land of Israel, you're not going to hear no wars. Syria and Russia and this and that and the third as we hear right now. All right, you're not going to hear no other nation beefing it up with another nation. That's not going to happen in our world. Okay, or Israelites beefing up against other Israelites. So the whole spirit of war is going to be out. All right, so if those people in the land of Israel today are claiming themselves to be the Jews, how come there is war being heard? That's showing you right there that they're not the Jews, man. That alone shows you they're not the Jews. They're a bunch of fucking liars. That's what they are. Excuse my language. Go on, brother. I'm getting good. Just bear with me, brothers.
O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord.
Come on. Yeah, they're gonna desire. Okay. They're gonna desire to be like us. They're gonna even wear the garments like us. Okay, because we gonna have our own style, and they're gonna want to follow that same style. Go on, brother.
We're going back to Isaiah 60, verse 4. Lift up thine eyes round about and see.
Yep.
All they gather themselves together.
Yep.
They come to thee. Thy son shall come from far.
Yep.
And thy daughter shall be nursed at thy side.
Right, and thy daughter shall be nursed at thy side. Because what are we gonna be using these women for? Concubines. Solomon had concubines. He had about what? 300 concubines, right? With 700 wives. So that's 1,000 women in total. So if we're living great and we're living so large as we are going to be, pursuant to prophecy, we're gonna have loads of women.
Yeah, so that's the big thing, man. I mean, obviously have that many women. Think about how much sex you have with one woman.
Right. And you know,
That means sex was a big part of Solomon's life, man.
Yeah.
Sex was a major theme that was going on in his life, man.
Yeah.
I mean, every day he was getting it in.
Yep.
Just imagine what you're getting in with one woman. Imagine you've got 100 women,
Yep.
and then 200 of them women, and then 300 of them women, and 4, 5, 6, 700, 8, 9, 10,000 of them.
Yep.
Motherfuckers, man. That's 1,000 pussies deep, man.
Yeah. So So I mean, there's no sense of feeling of I'm burning inside. I need a woman.
No wonder he got destroyed. The woman destroyed him. Got too much.
gonna need a
Too much
new
of a
body
good
for
thing,
that.
bro. Because I haven't got too much.
Too much of the good things.
Got too many. Destroyed him.
This body wouldn't keep up.
That's it, because he got old. Because he was getting old too. You know, his body couldn't keep up.
Because Solomon knew about the women. Because he said in Ecclesiastes, he said a woman's mind is full of games, bro. Her mind is full of snares and nets. She's always thinking of she's always because that's a woman's survival tactic is manipulation and games.
Yeah.
Because a man can use his physical brute force to take what he wants.
Right.
But a woman, in order to get what she wants, she's got to use manipulation and seduction and use other means other than brute overt violence.
Right, because she doesn't have that power.
Exactly, so that's like a survival thing, playing games, to play innocent and to draw you in and to get you emotionally attached to it. That's how she gets you.
Right, that's her power.
Yeah, that's her power.
Yeah. Can I just say something? In Jamaica, the Benjamins know that there's a thing called Thai, innit? Where the women they use their brains,
Your food, innit?
tamper with the food, and a lot of the northern tribes do it too. Tamper with the food to tie you, which means you, which means you, must come back, Yeah.
Ecclesiastes 7 verse 26, and I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth the Most High shall escape her.
And too, that's really talking about now, because when you check it out nowadays, really the men of today have no power over their women, even their children. So more so now than ever before, you gotta be careful what women you're dealing with. Because in our kingdom, the women in our world, they're gonna be in order. And the reason why they're gonna be in order because the Lord's gonna be in their inward parts, and the man is gonna have full dominion over his household. So all of this confusion and all of this nonsense that these women bring to the table is going to be obsolete. Like for example, you watch the Housewives of Atlanta, that wildness and that bullshit, that's going to be out. Okay? Because it's all going to be order. Because the scripture says, it is a sinful thing even to think foolishly. All right? So the whole concept of being foolish or just pretty much being a damn idiot, that's going to be out, man. It's going to be complete discipline in the kingdom. Order. Alright, so what we're going to do is read this.
But it says, but whoso pleaseth the Most High shall escape her.
Right, and that's why you got certain brothers, they looking for women and all of that stuff. And sometimes, most of the times, you don't want to get women. And the reason why, because if you had a woman, most likely you will pay more attention to that woman rather than this truth.
Exactly.
And these women ain't even women anyway. They ain't no woman. What is a woman? A woman is a servant unto man. That's what a woman is. These women I just call them females. These westernized females, they're just that, females. They go from one man to the next man to the next man to the next man. Before you know it, they got all kind of sperm cells in their body. All right, because women, they don't like a man, they like men.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the women of today in this society. They don't like one man, they like men.
In general, they like man, they like the attention of man.
Right.
They like men in general, different races of men, they don't mind, they like men.
Yeah.
They don't want one man. That's why she get bored of you and get with the next man.
Get with the next guy.
And she gets bored and she likes men in general.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's how it is nowadays. And even more so in this generation, these women are nothing but slacks, man. Okay? They call it what it is. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get back to the point. But in our world, these women are gonna be in order. Why? Because the right protocols are gonna be on the earth.
Can I finish these two verses?
Keep going, bro.
Behold, this have I found, saith the preacher, counting one by one, to find out the account which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Yep.
But a woman among all those have I not found.
Right, because women are not into truth. Women are not into wisdom. When you actually analyze women in general as a whole, okay, they're not into finding no truth. You're gonna find more men standing hearing what you have to say than women. Women are into what you call fantasies and lies and and la land kind of
Relationships.
bullshit. That's what they into. But a man in his right mind, he's more finding out what's going on. What the truth of the matter is. A woman ain't on that. Okay? A woman is just on fantasies and la land and kid stuff. That's what they are. Alright? And you can't blame them because they're kids by nature. They're the weaker vessel. They're just children. Okay? In the kingdom, they're gonna be that's why in the kingdom the men are gonna have to be responsible for guiding the household, the family. While she guides the house, the men are gonna be guiding her and the family. Okay, it's not gonna be how it is right now where you have the women guiding the men. That's a big thing now. Okay, your wife has more power over the man, over the husband. That's the new thing. That's the thing right now. Okay, but in the kingdom of heaven, the order is going to be established. All right, the one that has more mental capability and the individual that's more superior is going to have the governance over the household.
And
going, brother.
The woman, they're going to love to be one of the
And they're going to be right. And they're going.
You're going to even have to tell them. They're going to love that power, that vibe with a man and the brothers in order.
Yeah.
Because really, if you really want to be truthful, the so-called the Israelite woman, she deep down inside, she really does love the Israelite man. It's just that she doesn't respect her position. That's why she can't really get with us.
Right.
But in the kingdom, not only is she going to love us naturally, but she's going to respect us too.
Right.
So it's all going to be in unison, and everything's just going to flow naturally. Plus the laws are going to be within her.
Right.
So it's just going to be natural, isn't it? We're not going to need to punish them. And
No, there's no need for all of that stuff. And you know what too, brother, I don't want to just bring this, I don't want to just talk about women. I want to talk about the goods we're going to possess.
Right.
Because all a woman is possession as well. It tells you that in the, in the book of, I believe it's Ecclesiasticus, where it says if a man begetteth a woman, he begetteth a possession. Because we've been beat down too long, man. We got to stop putting these women on pedestal. She's just a woman.
That Egypt thing,
Huh?
that Egypt thing that we were doing.
That's all it is, man. You understand? And I mean, like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, yeah, a woman has a means. You know, she does play a purpose to bring in children. To bring in children, right? Okay? And to and to be a helpmate, to help you out with certain things. So if there's little things that you can't take care of, she'll be there to take care of it. All right, do the house up, do all kinds of different stuff that you don't need to do. So women do serve a purpose. They do, of course, but as it stands right now, what's most important is the Israelite men and what they're going to possess in the next world to come. And the reason why I'm saying this, right, because I remember a couple of weeks ago, it might have been last week, the brother Kazak, right, he caught some woman on his page saying that, why is it all about the Israelite males? It's annoying. It's not just about the Israelite males. It isn't all about the Israelite men. It is. Okay, you women, like I said, you're going to be submissive. Okay, you're going to play your order and everything's going to be beautiful from that point on. All right? You're not going to have, there's no equal game in this thing. Okay, the men are going to take power as they're supposed to. And that's the way it's going to be. There's no equal ground. All right? There's no equal ground between a man and a woman, isn't there? That whole 50-50, that's all nonsense. That's not in the Bible. And if that was the case, name me one woman that was a part of the 12 disciples. Not one.
exactly.
And that's showing you right there that the Most High does not look to a woman for anything.
That's sexism. That's real sexism.
Right. And like the brother was saying, basically, what it is that they got that Romanized mentality. They got that Edomite mentality. Oh, I got rights, so I'm going to exalt my level of power and my freedom. But your level of freedom got you to become a slut. Got you messed up. That's why you produce bastardized children and all of this nonsense. That's because Esau gave you freedom. Had Esau not given your ass freedom, you would have been in order. Okay? That's the truth, man. That's the truth. This is why we find in this society there's more kids out here